Hello. So Genesis, I will get to Genesis. This has been a project on my mind for a long time, and it's like super daunting because there's so many pieces to it. Um, I'm just gonna try and take little bites, but not today. I was thinking about this comment that was left on my last video, so that's what I'm gonna go ahead and talk about. Um, this is from Deconverted Man. Okay. So, truth is whatever is really real. A lie is told if and when we say something we think is not true or real. Okay, skipping out, there is no need to put a capital T for truth. We use caps to let the reader know that a sentence is beginning to show important words in a title, which that was. And to signal proper names and official titles, it is silly to use it for that word. It does not make it more true to do this practice. So, fair enough. I didn't technically say capital T truth, but I understand what you're saying. And that was kind of the direction that I was going with that. That's not exactly what I was saying. What I was saying is that facts, rather statements of fact, are not true in the same way, generally, that they are true. So, in the same way that they describe reality, they also fail to describe reality. And that's usually just the limitation of language and the sentence of like a statement of, fact being a representation of an idea. So you're dealing with language, you're dealing with subjectivity. So, like, for example, if I were to say something like, uh, deacon, forgive me if I spell something weird here. I'm just gonna go quick. Deconverted man, um, left a comment on my video. This is a statement of fact, correct? Well, like, I know that this is a fact because I have context. Like, I understand all of these words and what I mean by them, and I'm sure you understand what I mean by them. But suppose somebody approached this statement of fact, how would you confirm it to be true or not? So there's two ways that we can go with this. And first, I'm going to make it more specific. So deconverted man is that even correct? Yeah, it's together. Okay. That is actually a YouTube channel. That is not a person. To make it verifiable, I would have to say, you know, I'm just going to say so and so signed in to, okay, well, that's approaching something that is verifiably true. So like you might say it's a more specific factual statement, but I don't technically know that it was him, whoever is on the videos generally, was it the actual one to leave that comment. It could have been some friend or relative that has access to that channel. It could have been a bot, you know. So so that's not actually, like, I can't confirm whether or not that's true. It's technically unfalsifiable, but I accept that it's true. But if somebody from the outside was looking at this, it's like, well, no, I skipped a step here because what we could say is deconverted man commented on my video. And that would be even less verifiable because that technically doesn't, that could have just been a statement. Like, that's very unfalsifiable. But this, the way it is here, it left a comment, so that implies that it was a comment within YouTube. Okay, so it's already a little bit more specific than I meant to start out with. But then that person would have to go through like all of my videos. Now, there's been quite a few that this is true about. So, but when I say my video, I didn't say a video. I said my video as a specific video. That person wouldn't know what I'm referring to. So let's make it more specific. Okay, so now the person doesn't have to scroll through like all of my videos to see what I'm talking about and to confirm whether or not this is true. Now we can make it a little bit more specific because who am I? Okay, so um, I even skipped forward another step. So and so signed into the while signed into the YouTube account Deconverted Man, left a comment on the video titled "What is Truth?" posted by the account Jom, located here. I even posted the link. All right. So that if anyone approaching that could confirm whether or not that was true. But is this more true than this statement up here? I mean, like I said, that the first statement is kind of an absurdity because a YouTube account can't do anything. So I went one direction with this. I made it more specific, more verifiable. But let's go the other direction. So starting back here, how about someone? Okay. So this is a more general. Now it could include anyone that was signed in to the account. So now this statement up here, while being more specific, is unfalsifiable. I can't prove, I can't go back in time and show that this person was the one that left the comment. Now let's fix it, but let's fix it in the other direction. One of my videos. Okay. Let's just say John YouTube channel. Now, this actually encompasses more truth. Like this encompasses more reality. Now, but we can go even further with that. Someone left a comment on one of my videos. Well, that's true of virtually all my videos. So it encompasses even more truth. And then, well, why don't we just go even broader with this? We're going full on here. Someone left a comment on a YouTube video. That encompasses even more truth. But I can make it even better. Someone commented on a YouTube video. That includes all statements in person, right? All verbalizations of a comment on any YouTube video. Or why limit it to YouTube? Someone commented on a video. That includes all like Vimeo, any movie that's ever existed, anything. So is this statement more true than this statement? Is that statement? So let's get rid of all this because I think you get my point. Which of these statements is more true? Well, they both describe reality. One is more specific, detailed, and while being more specific, it's actually less verifiable. On the other hand, this broader statement is more verifiable and it encompasses more reality. So does that make it more true? I mean, I would say so because it is. Now, this is not, I don't need to put a capital T on truth for either one of these to be true. So and so did post a comment on this specific video, and someone commented on a video. Like those are both just facts, but one is more true. Really, that boils down to the subjective meaning that we place on the word true. And, I can delineate a a specific fact which happens to be true and say, well, I want to call broader things capital T true. That's a personal choice. I've done that in the past, not necessarily doing that here, but this is what I'm getting at, and this is leading somewhere. Okay, so when we talk about Genesis, are we looking at factual representations of a specific event, or are we looking at a broad truth that is represented as an account, let's say, or a narrative, like it's placed within a narrative that's telling us something beyond just the specific detail of the thing. The hyper literalists, so to speak, are like, well, everything took place within these like 24-hour time frames. And it's like, well, technically the word day in Hebrew is the time period. First of all, it can mean a period of time, which it does mean that in some places. But even a literal day is the period of time that takes place between evenings. So there was evening and there was morning, day one, basically, day two, day three, etc. So depending on your definition of evening, that can mean different things. Is it possible that that word had more meaning than you're allowing for? Like, I like to use this example. So when the Bible is talking about clean and unclean animals, it's talking about all these birds, and then it lists bats. It's like, well, bats aren't birds. Yeah, bats aren't birds according to modern conception of like what a bird is. It lays eggs, it has feathers, a beak, like these common qualities. A bat is a mammal, it's not a bird. It's like, but that's not what they meant by bird. It's flying thing, in the same way, like a fish. A fish is cold-blooded. It has scales. Or well, it doesn't have to. I don't know exactly the qualities of a fish, but it's not the same as a whale. A whale is a mammal, okay? But their word for fish is just like water-dwelling creature. To say that their word fish couldn't include whale, that's an anachronism. You're applying a modern conceptualization, a framework, you're boxing in an idea or a concept, and then you're applying that same concept to a word that existed anciently that never included those criteria. And then there's also the symbolic aspect where it's everything is a microcosm of something else. So like there's parity between more specific elements and higher order elements. So like I've used the example of light before. Like so there's material light, which again does not mean the same thing that it meant to an ancient person. Like we're not talking about photons and electromagnetism. We're just talking about things, the thing that comes from fire or celestial bodies. That's it. It allows you to see. So that is like one microcosm of something greater, which you might call enlightenment. So it's like when something is revealed to your mind or your spirit, that is the same thing. It's light, but they aren't the same things exactly. It's a microcosm of a greater concept. So when you blow out these concepts to greater concentric circles of what they encompass, which is kind of what we did here with this example, it's like this first one is like a very minute microcosm of like all those layers that we went in the other direction. It's encompassed within all of those, but it's also it mirrors them. So like in all of them you have someone commenting on a video. So like that is the greater like idea. And so anything within that is described by that. Is it gets so this is why it's difficult to talk about these things to a modern like rationalist. Like we don't think about things in these ways. Um, so hopefully this serves as an example, and then when we get to Genesis, we'll have some further examples. Anyway, just thought I'd lay that out there. Shalomi homie.